why a child of God is not and cannot have victory. If you go back to me in Joshua again now, Joshua chapter 6. And he said the second reason why a child of God does not have victory is because they underestimate the enemy. Now Joshua, if you would, let's do Joshua chapter 7. In Joshua chapter 7 and go with me verse number 2. Israel had sinned against God. Israel had sinned, and God says, "I'll not be with you. You will not stand against your enemies. You will not be victorious." Listen, what the world wants to see is somebody to save and seriously. Yeah. And you know what? Whatever done in the dark, eventually it will come to the light. Yeah. Man. And you never know who sees or who knows what you do. I'll be riding down, like brother said from time to time, riding down Paris and night. What do you want me to do? All right, no more. And the devil would jump in and say, "Boy, nobody know you're on here. You're just a shirt, man." Nobody know you're down here. So they don't see you in the light of those in the Volusia County area see. But as the word as one brother said in the men's fellowship, "I'll govern myself." Leon used the word govern. Accordingly, because why? Even though nobody may know me down there, there's a God that's still the God up in Volusia County, instead of Brevard County, and he still sees everything. So I have to try to govern myself or conduct myself accordingly, because I want the praise of God. I want the power of God. I want to walk in victory in God's grace. And I understand it's only when they try to do the right thing. Yeah. Now, secondly, you see the second reason why many God's people have victory is we underestimate the enemy. In Joshua chapter 7 now, verse number 2. In Joshua chapter 7, verse number 2, and Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Bethlehem on the east side of Bethel, and spake against them, saying, "Go up into the country." And the men went up into Ai. Verse 3, and returned to Joshua and said unto him, "Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up, and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither, for they are but a few." So there went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. The second reason why God's people don't have victory, march from victory to victory, is that we underestimate the enemy. And Joshua, all of us don't need to go fight the children of Ai. Let's just a couple thousand of boys. We just defeated Jericho. We whipped that great city, and the massive walls of Jericho came running out fight. Joshua, all of us don't need to go. 2,000 or 3,000 of us, we go to war. 2,000 or 3,000 went up, then you were defeated. Yeah. The reason why many of God's people don't have the victory, secondly, is that they underestimate the enemy. Now, I said again, the preacher is not the enemy. The preacher is not the enemy. Brothers in the church are not the enemy. Deacons are not the enemy. Trustees are not the enemy. Our sisters are not the enemy. Now we do know sometimes that personalities see things differently, and some people like things differently. You may like coon, some like possum. You may like chicken, some like chitlins. You may like fish, some like conch. They're different personalities and different dislikes. But listen, even though you like something different than somebody else likes something, that person is not your enemy. Ultimately, the enemy, our enemy, is the devil. Yeah, amen. He is your enemy. The Bible says the thief cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy. He is your enemy. Sometimes you don't like what somebody do or like what that person say, but that is not your enemy. You may not like what they're thinking or like what they talk about, but that is not your enemy. Your enemy, beloved, is the devil. He's the thief. He's the destroyer. He's Beelzebub. He's the one to destroy your faith, destroy your life, destroy your joy. And if he's about to destroy your faith and destroy your life, and he is your enemy. And a child of God can have victory if they underestimate the devil. Now, quickly, we said the devil had the permission, who is our enemy, to subtraction. Go quickly to Matthew chapter 13, Matthew's Gospel chapter 13. I know I'll not get through all of it, but I want to just share some thoughts on it. In Matthew's Gospel chapter 13, the devil had the ability of subtraction. Matthew's Gospel chapter 13, and go with me now in verse number 18. Matthew chapter 13, verse number 18. I'm just trying to hit some high points on the series of today. Matthew's Gospel chapter 13, verse number 18 through 21. Hear ye the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not. Then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. Catcheth away that which is sown in his heart. We said the devil have the ability of subtraction. When in here, in other words, the devil have the ability to catch away that which is sown in the heart. You see that? That's why you can learn scripture verses. Boy, next week, next week, you forgot what you learned. You hear preaching many times in church over and over again. This preacher coming preaching, that preacher coming preaching. He asked, what did Brother Taylor preach on 2 weeks ago? Well, it's good, but I can't remember. He had the ability to snatch away that which is hot. That's why your mind is geared in the fashion that things that it's so easy to forget things that are spiritual. But you let a rap song come up, or like the brother said, the whole songs you listen to, the patterns and the stylistics and the BGs and BJs and the whole song come back and you hit one song, they'll pop back in your mind. Yeah. You can listen to the radio in your car and an old song come on before you know it, the whole word is flat back. Yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, that's why that's coming back. But you let the Bible, you let a scripture verse, you read somewhere, you let a scripture verse, you learn sometime. It is hard to bring it back. Why? The devil has the permission to, it's subtraction. Yeah. It's easy to forget spiritual things. It's easier to forget spiritual things. It's harder to remember spiritual things. But it's easier to remember things of the world. If I could go down the line, before you got saved, say, actually just name one of the old songs, and you can name the old song, and I'll tell you what, let somebody play a little piece of that, you can finish that. You somebody play a piece of that, you can finish it. That's why your kids that's why your kids are in school. They can quote all the lyrics of the rap song and Snoop Dogg and all these songs. They can quote the lyrics of the song. What you ask them and say, the mathematical table, 10 times 9. 8 times 8. Oh, I know. But you ask them to spit on the lyrics of a rap song and start. Oh, yeah, fuck them. They got it. Now, the ability for subtraction. Secondly, we learn subtraction. We said the word suggestion. He had the ability to suggestion. Now, go with me in Acts chapter 5. If you would, please, Acts chapter 5. The enemy has the ability for not only suggestion, subtraction, but for suggestion. In Acts chapter 5, now go in verse 1, Acts chapter 5 and verse 1, dealing with victory from victory, and we're closing our series and captivating what we talked about before. Acts chapter 5, now and go in verse 1, the devil, again, our enemy, have the ability of suggestion, not just subtraction, but again, suggestion. Acts chapter 5, and go with me now in verse 1. We find the story of Ananias and Sapphira. In Ananias and Sapphira, now we look at Ananias and Sapphira, Acts chapter 5. And verse 1. Now, but a certain man named Ananias, with Sapphira his wife, sold a possession, kept that part of the price. His wife also been privy to it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, here's the word, why had Satan filled thine heart? Suggestion to lie. To the Holy Ghost. Hey, Ananias in church, Satan had the ability to fill his heart. You wonder why sometimes you're walking around and driving around, some pops in your mind in your heart. A thought. And we thank God that nobody knows our thoughts. You wonder why sometimes that the devil has the ability to project you, to suggest sinful thoughts. Fill our heart with sinful thoughts. Sexual. Selfish. Why has Satan filled thy heart? Sinful, sexual, selfish, even sleepy. You try to read the Bible all the time, man, you may have lost 2 nights of sleep. But as soon as you try to read the Bible,